The guy I met for coffee that called me for hours straight afterward. 200 plus texts later, I filed a police report. Hi all, I've lurked here from time to time and recently posted this in slash the girl survival guide and got a lot of encouragement to post it here as well. I edited it a little to add detail now that I'm not weeping into a glass of bourbon while I'm typing about it. It may seem ridiculous, but writing about it is making it somewhat easier to deal with. Originally posted May 21st, 2018. I met a guy this weekend. We were at the same restaurant. He was with a wedding party, I was with family. Not connected to the wedding or couple in any way, just happened to be at the same restaurant where the wedding reception was being hosted. He was polite and respectful and offered me his number. I took it and decided to text him. We texted for a day or so and then made arrangements to get together for coffee. We got together in the middle of the day at a public place. I drove myself. I texted a friend and told her where I'd be and the guy's name. I figured I was being overly cautious. The first three-fourths of the conversation was normal enough. We talked about work, schooling, basketball, etc. It turned out he was a lot younger than I thought he was. He's 22, I'm 35. He went from being kind of shy and very respectful to telling me a story about how the night after the wedding he came home and people were being crazy. I asked him what he meant and then he elaborated to tell me that he had walked into his bedroom and lesbian girls I know were having sex on my bed, but he was a gentleman and didn't stick around to watch, and then locked eyes and asked, "Have you ever been in that kind of situation before?" I said, "Well, I've lived in apartments, so I've heard people sometimes." And he pushed further and asked, "No, but have you ever walked in on something like that?" I said, "No, that's a weird story to tell someone he just met," and changed the subject. He talked about himself a lot. He did ask me questions, but would interrupt me when I tried to answer and continued to talk about himself. Something felt odd. He was not acting like he was the night I met him. He leaned in over the table a lot and made a noticeable effort to lock eyes with me. I like eye contact, but it felt more like a stare down after a while. I could feel myself moving away the further he leaned in. He started to talk about how he used to pick up girls, but he doesn't do that anymore because he realized that the girls he picked up at the bars were probably whores who went there every weekend. Then he wanted to know if I drank, smoked, did drugs. Did I ever party? Where did I party? Where did I like to go out to? Do I see other men, etc., etc.? Almost no pauses, one question after the other. We talked for a few minutes more and he looked at his phone and said, "The game I wanted to watch is going to start soon. Do you want to get out of here?" Turns out there was a basketball game on, and he wanted to come back to his place to watch it. I said no thanks, we just met, so I'm not comfortable with that. Well, maybe we can talk again soon. His face sort of changed, and he said, "I'm sorry, but I really thought you were going to come back with me." I told him I wasn't sure how he got that impression. I had not at any point said I would do that. He kept asking me to come back to his place, and I kept saying no. He kept asking me why not. I kept saying, "I just met you. I'm not comfortable going back to your house." He said, "Fine, let's go to the park then." Red flags and alarm bells were going off, so I said, "No, thanks. I'm not interested." He basically begged and said he even skipped the game if I wanted him to. I said no, just go home. We just met for coffee. It's not a big deal if we can't take it further today. He then asked me to take a walk in the field behind the coffee shop, looked at the ground and literally said, "I'll do anything you want, just don't leave." I said again I wasn't going to go anywhere else with him that day. Please just respect that, and we'll talk later. I got into my car, and as he was pulling away, he yelled out his car window at me. "I'm going to do everything I can to change your mind. Come over." I sat and watched him leave because things just felt weird. I drove home, and my phone was blowing up the whole time. He was texting and calling, saying he was home and I should come over. Then he sent me a video of himself watching basketball on his couch alone. He started sending me messages saying he could see a future with me, that I was the most beautiful woman he'd ever met. Like, it was horrible for such a beautiful woman to be single, and that he, quote, liked our chances to be together. The entire coffee date was 40 minutes max. He continues to ask me to come over. I said I was happy to meet him for coffee, but I told him I wasn't going to come over before I left and was not going to go back on what I said. Then the calls really started. 7:55, 8 o'clock, 8:02, 8:07, 8:11. He called and called over and over for the next several hours. I texted him after the first couple calls. He had sent me another text saying how beautiful and perfect I was and he wanted to date and travel together. And all I could think to say was, I'm sorry, I don't feel the same way about you that you seem to feel about me. I wish you well. Take care. He said he didn't understand. Did that mean I didn't want to see him again? So I replied with, I'm sorry for not being clear. No, I don't want to see you again. I'm sorry. I wish you well. Goodbye. The calls and texts kept coming. I told him one time to please stop. I had to turn off my phone. It kept vibrating so much. The texts were all about, what did I do wrong? Why don't you tell me so I can fix it and make this work between us? I am really a great guy and I like you so much. You owe it to me to tell me. If you tell me, then I'll stop bothering you, but you have to tell me. I blocked his number. But my phone still logs call attempts from blocked numbers, so I could see he was still calling all night until 2 a.m. He called a few more times this morning and again this afternoon. I called my phone company this morning to check, and turns out he had sent me over 200 text messages in that one day. That was the tipping point, and I decided to go to the police station and at least talk to them and possibly report it as suspicious behavior or harassment. All I had was his first name, which I'm pretty sure was a nickname, and a phone number. The cops were really nice and took down all the info. He had never threatened me, but I had told him to stop and he wouldn't. They said that it was enough to be concerned. I showed them the text and the timing of the calls, and they said it was definitely looked like obsessive and unstable behavior, and it was good that I came in, even just to put it on record in case things got worse. I felt so bad for even going there, like he was stupid to have even gone to meet him, but I've been on lots of coffee dates and no one has ever done this kind of thing before. After I left the station, I got home and checked my phone, and I had 3 voicemails from unknown numbers. And it was him pleading for me to call him and tell him how to make it right. He doesn't understand why I blocked him. Did he message me too much? Was it a bad move to call me 80 times in a night? Why wouldn't I just talk to him? I recorded the voicemails and sent them in to the police, along with screenshots of the messages and logs from my phone company. Now I'm low-key terrified of what will happen next. Will the cops call him? If they do, will it make him mad? I'm pretty sure I didn't tell him anything about the area of the city I live in or where I work. And all he had was my phone number, no Facebook or WhatsApp or other socials. I considered changing my cell phone number, but I'm also hoping that he'll get to the point after a few days of silence and just give up. I'm so shocked I don't even know what to do next. Update. May 22nd, 2018. He's been texting and calling me from random numbers all day. I've been taking screenshots and sending them into the police with my report number. It's been a long, exhausting day. I really want to change my number, but he keeps sending me stuff and I feel like it might be helpful to the police to figure out who he actually is. I've informed my family, friends, employer, cell phone provider, and building caretaker about this crazy pants and given everyone a description. I went out and bought 100+ decibel alarms with windows and doors in my apartment and installed them. I am in Canada, so I can't legally carry mace, but I'm looking for alternatives. Mega update. Today he wrote me a very long-winded message, asking for another chance and begging forgiveness. He said, I was just overly excited to meet such a beautiful and well-endowed woman, and that he needed just one chance to show you my true worth. Pleading and pleading for me to reply and come meet him. And he signed his name at the bottom. I had heard it slightly wrong and didn't have the right spelling in my phone. I went on Facebook and found his profile. He had 0 security settings. He's not friends with anyone I know. I copied that link and sent it off to the cops. I am torn between really hoping they can talk some sense into him and being terrified that if the police confront him that he'll become even crazier. I would have slept easier if I'd changed my number right away, but I might never have gotten his real name and profile if I had. I doubt the cops will do much until he starts threatening me. Now I'm torn. Do I change it and sleep better at night, or let him keep screaming into the silence while I collect more evidence? Is it worth it? I keep thinking. All he has is my number. Update. May 28th, 2018. The last contact I had from my coffee date was 4-ish days ago when he called me at 12:56 a.m. on the 24th. He'd been texting me from the same number a few days earlier, when he sent me the charming message about me being so well endowed, so I'm pretty sure it was him. I'm admittedly feeling a little burnt out. I'm taking tomorrow off work to try and chill out. There's been a lot to handle along with work and life in general. I haven't really heard from the cops. I've gone back a couple of confirmations that they've added my screen caps and voicemail recordings to the file, but nothing else. He hasn't been threatening me, and his enthusiasm seems to be dying down, so I doubt I'll hear much unless things change. Here's hoping there aren't more reasons for the police to become more involved than just saying, thanks for the info, you've added it to your file. They have his names, pic, and Facebook profile. I've blocked him on Facebook and hidden all my profile pics. I haven't gotten any friend requests on any of my social medias. I'm being cautious when I go out. The alarms are helpful, both magnetic and glass break ones have been installed. At least if this dumb kid managed to figure out where I live and tried to get in, I would hear something and be able to get the fuck out. I slashed a hammer between my headboard and my mattress. It feels gross every time I get into bed and hear it tap lightly against the wall, but I'm glad it's there. Thanks for the concern. Everyone, I'm safe. Things are calming down. He knows how to reach me. I know how to send screen caps to the cops. That's about where our relationship is at right now. Update. March 17th, 2020. I haven't looked at this account since my last update, and now that most of the world is under quarantine, it occurred to me to sign in and take a look. First of all, many thanks to everyone who reached out to see if I'm okay. I'm totally okay. At the time, I was terribly freaked out and just wanted to not think about this whole thing anymore. I hope no one worried too much, and I'm sincerely sorry if you did. I'm glad that I made the initial post because I was so overwhelmed it was really difficult to work through. Things are 100% better now, so thank you all for the support. I had a few weeks of silence after the last update, and then I got 2 or 3 calls from an odd number, a landline that I could do a reverse 411 lookup on. The address was from the area around the coffee shop where we met, and I recalled that he had told me that he lives a couple blocks over while he was trying to get me back to come over to his basement. I sent the screenshot of the calls and the address to the police email I had been given and made the choice to change my phone number. It was a giant PITA, but I absolutely slept better. I have been back to the restaurant twice and never saw him, and I'm never in the area where we met in the coffee. It still makes me nervous if I see someone who looks like him, but I try to remind myself that the way he acted means he would latch on with a death grip to anyone who gave him the type of day, so he's likely to set his sights elsewhere now, which is, in its own way, kind of terrifying. I hope he figures this shit out and that other women he encounters get treated better than I did. I hope you're all well and staying safe inside and safe. Hearts.